agriculture and food sector strongholds and solutions across the value chain. The lobby is the starting point, and from here you can navigate to all touchpoints in the universe. In the bottom left-hand corner, you'll find the Experience panel with a brief introduction to the universe, direct access to the strongholds, and links to our social media accounts. Navigate to Meet Food Nation to learn more about the public-private partnership and services, and get in touch with our team. Request a physical or digital tour in one of our visitor centers. Dive into 8 strongholds within sustainability, innovative technology, food quality and safety, ingredients, health, organic food production, gastronomy, and the unique Danish way of collaborating. Navigate to our case library to browse more than 100 different cases from the Danish agriculture and food sector across multiple categories. In the breakout lobby, you'll find 3 breakout rooms: the Global Food Talks, Insights, and Food Dialogues. In addition to participating in a wide range of webinars, you can explore previous webinars and publications, sign up to a newsletter, and dive into United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. You will also find the Academy of Sustainable Value Chains, showcasing how Danish products and solutions can contribute to a more sustainable food system. Here, you can dive into the different value chains, dairy and pig. If you're interested in the dairy sector, you can explore and get insights about the different steps of the value chain. If you're seeking information about the pig sector, you can dive into the different steps of the value chain, explore cases, and visit relevant companies. Have a look around and enjoy Food Nation's virtual universe.
Hi and welcome to the Market Insight webinar about Vietnam. My name is Marianne Risbøl.
And my name is Mie O. Lauritsen, and I'm looking so much forward to this webinar today to dive into the data from our survey on the Vietnamese market.
Yes, this is the 3rd webinar out of a series of 4, and it's conducted in collaboration with the Trade Council. And with us today, we have Sanne Høj Andren, Sector Councillor at the Embassy of Denmark in Vietnam, and Sia Oscarsen, Director, Fruit-Based Raw Materials at Orane. It is possible to ask questions along the session, and we will answer as many as possible later in the webinar. So let's have, thank you for now. You will come back later. Now I would like to look at the agenda. I will just share the screen with you. Yes, so we will start out with an introduction to the key findings from the Insight report on Denmark as a food nation, focusing on market-specific knowledge for Vietnam and how you can use these information in your local sales and marketing activities. Then Sanne Høj Andren, Sector Councillor at the Embassy of Denmark in Vietnam, will speak about the market, the current situation in Vietnam, and look into market opportunities and possible pitfalls. We'll give the floor to Sia Oscarsen, Director at Orane in the fruit and raw-based materials department, who will share her experiences doing business in Vietnam, how to work with the health and sustainability, and what Danish companies should think of in order to succeed. At the end, we'll show you where to find the Insight report and related materials. So every year, Food Nation develops an Insight report on Denmark as a food nation, focusing on how Denmark is perceived on chosen markets as an agriculture and food country. We are focusing on brand awareness, unique selling points, and the specific topics within the sector. And the 2022 edition is about health and sustainability. It is the 4th of a forthcoming series of reports, and is focusing on health and sustainability and how that supports exports towards a green transition. Seen in the context of recent world events, the perceived close link between health and sustainability is not so surprising. Markets continue to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, which interrupted supply chains and underlined the huge inequality in public health. There is a real need for sustainable, healthy diets that promote all aspects of individual health and well-being while protecting the environment. But the question is whether key international partners are aware of Denmark as a supplier for healthy and sustainable products and solutions. So these are the questions that we have asked decision makers in Japan, South Korea, the United Kingdom, and Vietnam within the food and agriculture sector in collaboration with Opinion. The study consists of a survey amongst 803 international decision makers on the 4 markets. All decision makers are from companies working with agriculture or food products and all solutions. So if we dive into some of the results, we can see that Denmark has an unaided awareness of 14% among international decision makers. The unaided awareness of Denmark was revealed by asking decision makers to list countries that spontaneously come to mind as established food and agriculture nations. And zooming in on the overview of unaided brand awareness, we can see that Denmark is ranking quite high compared to the size of our country. China, followed by the US, Japan, France, and Germany, has the highest awareness amongst the international decision makers, excluding the decision makers' own home country. So Denmark is, though, associated with several positive characteristics. Quality stands out as the most important characteristic, followed by sustainability, organic, and food safety, and closely followed by reliable, innovative, and healthy. The percentages are not that diverse, which implies that Denmark is strong on several parameters. So health and sustainability are closely related concepts according to 82% of decision makers, and being sustainable is the top health challenge on the decision makers' home countries. But let's put the spotlight on Vietnam, and I would like to invite my colleague Mie back to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marian. And now I'm back here. And I'm looking forward to dive a little bit deeper into to the data from the image analysis here. So as Marian said, Denmark as a food and agriculture nation has an unaided awareness of 14% among the surveyed decision makers on the different markets. But if we look specific at the Vietnamese decision makers, the number is 10%, which we believe is relatively high, as the country's share of the Danish export is only 0.23%. The top 5 countries for awareness among the decision makers are China, it's Japan, US, France, and Indonesia. But when we ask specifically about the perception of Denmark, Vietnam is a country where 50%, as you can see here from the slide, of the decision makers see Denmark as a leading food and agriculture nation. And at the same time, 36 of the decision makers don't know much about Danish agriculture and food solutions. I will just try to get it over here. These results shows actually that the Vietnamese decision makers in general have a quite good perception of Denmark as an agriculture and food nation, but we believe that there is still room for improvement. Our survey also showed that decision makers tend to regard their own country as a top contender on the global food and agriculture scene. Probably as they are more familiar with their home markets, products and solutions than from other countries. So you can say that the domestic or the home markets are a competitor to Danish agriculture and food export. Although compared to the 3 other survey markets, Vietnamese decision makers are less convinced about their home market's capabilities, with just 50% naming their own country, as you can see from here. So where can Danish food and agricultural products and solutions differentiate? Well, ask about the top 3 attributes the Vietnamese B2B decision makers associate with Danish food and agricultural products and solutions. They highlight, as you can see from the slide here, innovation, science-based, quality, and cooperation. These are the attributes the decision makers rank high. So driving brand awareness on the Vietnamese market should be based on these attributes. The Vietnamese decision makers, on the other hand, rank their home market products and solutions significantly higher for attributes such as organic, fresh, good taste, and reliable. And 53 consider them for good value for money. Oh, sorry. So now I will just take a closer look on the theme for this report from this year, health and sustainability, and how the Vietnamese decision makers perceive this topic. Health play an important role within trade for Vietnamese decision makers. 90%, as you can see here, says that my company's customers are demanding more healthy food products and solutions. 94% says that my company's customers are demanding more healthy food products and solutions. And also 83% that being able to contribute to healthy food products and solutions is an increasingly important trade parameter. Positively is then that 60% of the Vietnamese decision makers say that Danish food and agricultural products and solutions are among the healthiest in the world. So as a Danish company, it seems like there is a good platform for positioning your products and solution within this area when exporting to the Vietnamese market. Before we just talked about health as a business parameter, now we have asked the decision makers about how solutions can improve health throughout the value chain. Here they highlight 87% natural ingredients and products are one way to improve global health. 90% says that a food system focused on food security and safety throughout the value chain is important for health. And 82%, as you can see from this slide, investment in new technology are needed to improve health throughout the value chain. So when asked about who can offer these solutions that can improve health, the Danish companies come out with a very positive score. 71% says that Danish companies can offer technological solutions that can improve the development of the healthy products in my company. 75% says that Danish companies can offer products and solutions across the value chain that can support the production of healthy food. Well, this indicates that the Vietnamese decision makers say that we in Denmark have solutions that can improve health, but that we are not fulfilling this full potential yet. So there is an opportunity to incorporate health into your branding and sales export work. Going a little bit deeper into the health topic, the top 3 health associations related to the food and agriculture sector among Vietnamese decision makers is with 27% saying food safety, 25% saying organic, and 19% sustainability. These three associations are also some of the strongholds within the Danish food cluster. For example, food safety lies in the Danish food cluster's DNA, and it's worth communicating these strongholds on the Vietnamese market in order to take this strong position. Likewise, it is for organic solutions and products. The attributes is followed up by information about contributors to better health through the value chain. And here the decision makers mention food safety and security. They mention organic food products, and they mention using an organic farming method. So they are parameters that can have big impact, according to the Vietnamese decision makers, in terms of contributing to improve health throughout the value chain. As you can see here, 38% says that ensuring food security and food safety is one of the contributors. 43% says that it's organic products, and 34% it's using organic farming method. As mentioned earlier, Danish companies are strong within these areas, and it can be used with advantage in your export work. So to sum up, there is a potential to grow awareness of Denmark as a food nation. Our image is strong, and health and sustainability have become more important. So drive efforts to increase awareness of the Danish brand. Vietnamese decision makers have relatively high, as I said, unaided awareness of Denmark compared to the actual trade flow. Half perceive Denmark as a leading food and agriculture nation. So this actually suggests that there is a huge potential for increasing sales. Highlight Denmark as a front runner for organic food production, because Denmark ranks significantly lower for organic products and solutions than the Vietnamese own, as I said, domestic suppliers, according to the decision makers. But on the basis, there's much to be gained from highlighting Denmark's capabilities as a global organic leader, while bearing in mind that the Vietnamese market has a different understanding of organic. Innovation, science, quality, and cooperation. Well, here it's important that we build up a strong position within this. Well, we have a strong position according to the Vietnamese decision makers, and they all recognize that we have this strongholds. More than half of these decision makers also recognize that Danish food and agriculture products and solutions are good value for money. So increased focus on the strongholds in marketing strategies may build up on this competitive advantage. Lastly, I just want to say that Danish organic farming method and food safety standards, this is also very important to highlight, because the Vietnamese decision makers, they draw strong links between health and food safety, organics and sustainability, as I mentioned, and organic farming methods are seen as very important contributors to secure health throughout the value chain. So Danish company has an excellent opportunity to support the implementation of organic farming and raise awareness of Denmark's high food safety standards, which are important strongholds. So these were the insight into the image analysis focus on the Vietnamese market, and I look so much forward to hear our next speakers unfolding how to enter and be on this market. So thank you so much, and I will give the word to Marian.
Thank you, Mie, for your presentation, and I will go quickly to the next dot in the agenda, and I would like to invite Sanne Høj André on the screen and give the floor to you, Sanne. And Sanne, I can hear that you need to unmute your microphone.
Okay, I think it's there now. Thank you, Marianne, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. First of all, I just want to mention that as many others these days, I have a severe sore throat. So please bear with me if I need to take a sip of water during the presentation. But first of all, thanks to Food Nation for hosting this webinar and to give us the opportunity to speak a bit about Vietnam and what market opportunities and pitfalls that we from the embassy see here in Vietnam. My name is, as mentioned, Sanne Høj André. I'm the Sector Counselor on Agriculture and Food, and I'm based in Hanoi at the embassy. And together with me, there's also a few of my colleagues from the trade section that are online here today. So first of all, and to set the scene, I have a slide with a few facts about Vietnam. I know that some of the participants online today already do business in Vietnam, or they are already even present in Vietnam. So some of this information might be well known to some of you, but I still think that we should just talk briefly about the facts about the country. So the capital of Vietnam is Hanoi, which is in the north of Vietnam. And the commercial center is Ho Chi Minh City, which you see down in the south of Vietnam. Compared to Denmark, Vietnam is of course much bigger, about 8 times the size, with a population roughly around 100 million people. You see life expectancy to be around 75 years compared to 81 in Denmark. And the GDP per capita will be around 3,730, whereof I just saw today that in Denmark it's around 58,000. And the poverty 6.7, whereof the latest number that I could find related to Denmark was 0.5. And a political system is the one-party system. We have this slide tried to highlight some of the trade and investment environments in Vietnam, looking at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. I won't go into all of them now, but I will just highlight a few of them. Where within the strengths, we have, for example, the political stability, the competitive labor cost, whereof in the weaknesses, we are still looking into corruption and energy supply, especially renewable energy, that could be difficult to get, especially if you're building a factory. Whereof the opportunities are still the fast-growing middle class and increased attractive investment destination, especially compared to China. And some of the threats could be that Vietnam, like other countries, are facing headwinds from the global recession, and also puts Vietnam in a very vulnerable situation as they rely a lot on export. So the domestic politics and social stability is also, as mentioned before, the one-party system. At the same time, you need to take corruption into consideration, and freedom of expression is guaranteed, but sometimes it's not implemented in practice. And then there's the deepening economic and defense cooperation with the US. And sorry. And the relationships with China. Looking at Vietnam key medium-term indicators, it's clear that Vietnam is now one of the most dynamic emerging countries in the East Asia region, has gone from being one of the poorest countries in the world into now a lower middle income country. And of course, that gives great opportunities for Danish and other international companies. Looking into, for example, the GDP growth, it's clear to see in the graph that Vietnam is a fast-growing economy, and the latest growth rate is of 8.02% in 2022. As one of the opportunities that should be highlighted are also all the FTAs that Vietnam has now signed. There are currently 15 FTAs that has been finalized, and there are still 2 FTAs that are being negotiated. The free trade agreements gives the great opportunities for Danish and Vietnamese companies, for example, by making Vietnam an attractive site for production and thereby exporting to other partners outside the ASEAN. I saw that Eurocham members made, they asked their members what they thought about the FTAs, and 72% of the Eurocham members said that the FTA will make Vietnam more competitive and might be able to turn Vietnam into a European business hub. Of course, there are also challenges in relation to the FTAs, as it will give larger competition, and especially large competition between competitive foreign companies. And one of the sectors that this is relevant in is in the agriculture sector, especially within the dairy and meat, where we see a tendency that that companies that are foreign companies that are normal also competitors on other markets are also now competitors in the Vietnamese market, especially products from EU, Australia, and Canada. So this slide is to give you an overview of the trade and investment situation between Denmark and Vietnam. Looking at the total trade turnover between the two countries, there was I just got confused about something in the chat, but I'll see you just in general thing that if you have questions, you can ask them later on. So the total trade turnover between the two countries were in 2022, 720 million USD. And the Danish import of goods from Vietnam increased severe from 2021 to 2022 by almost 40%, which makes it a total of 495 million USD. And on the other hand, the Danish exports of goods to Vietnam decreased slightly by 3% from 21 to 22, with now a total of 226 million USD. So Vietnam as an attractive investment destination. As mentioned, a large number of international and Danish companies are now considering Vietnam as an attractive investment destination, especially compared to China. Of course, there are many different reasons for this, but one of the reasons could be the strict pandemic-related measures in China, as well as the trade tension between China and the US, which now makes large companies look into Vietnam as a possibility. Vietnam, on the other hand, offer a lower cost labor cost, a younger population, and several government incentives that are all in all making it an attractive investment destination. And looking into last year, Denmark ranked as the 6th among the largest FDI investors in Vietnam, after countries that we normally wouldn't compete with. And two of the major investments, or the two largest investments, were the Lego factory with $1 billion USD, and the Pandora with $100 million USD. And it can be mentioned that there are currently more than 150 Danish companies that are present in Vietnam. Where the previous slides has focused on a more general information on the Vietnamese scene and regarding the economic and the opportunities, I will in the following slide focus on the agriculture and food sector, what opportunities we see there, and also to give a few examples of some of the investment that has been done lately. We have listed, and I know that when you look at the slide, it seemed like, oh, there's opportunities within a lot of things, but we have tried to list it final foods, production and technology, and livestock production. For the final foods, we have looked at especially the products that are already present and the ones that we already also see the opportunity could increase. And with production and technology, there's a great need for new technology. And in the livestock production side, we have tried to break it a bit further down. And especially within the livestock production is products and know-how related to the pork production. But this comes by all this, and the interest in Danish products and technology is a result of that we have seen the increase in the population income, and how that we now see the consumers are able to not only request but also to pay for new kind of products, better quality, etc. And thereby we see that the consumption pattern of the consumers are shifting, and will probably shift even more in the years to come. And in all, this leads to a rising demand for livestock products, meat, egg, milk, and therefore we also need to have an intensification of the livestock system. The production of the livestock are gradually shifting from the large, from the small-scale farmers, the backyard farmers, to a more larger and industrial scale farming. We do especially see this within the pork sector, where before families could have like a few porks in the backyard, but now we do see those intensified large production sites are increasing. The agriculture and food sector are overall one of the strongest sectors in Vietnam, and thereby it's also one of the sectors that are great opportunities within. The sector do need more technological development and to have those value-added products. And that meets the demand from both export market and the domestic market. We do see, and as already mentioned by Mia, that Denmark is very attractive on that part, and we do have attractive products, solutions, and know-how. But it also comes with a higher price, or it often comes with a higher price. So I think it's also important to justify why your price might be increased compared to, for example, other Asian companies. Looking a bit closer into the agriculture and food sector, I will in the following slides share an example with you of a case that we see a major investment within the dairy sector. Vinamilk and Mok Chow Milk has together invested $134 million USD in a closed-loop dairy complex, and they call it Mak Chau Dairy Paradise Complex. It's is supposed to be built in Son La province, which is in the northern part of Vietnam. And this complex is designed to combine both the dairy production, but also ecotourism. And they will, in the end, or they are expected to produce 20 million liters of milk per year. Phase 1 of this extraordinary project is expected to be completed by 2024. And the complex would furthermore include a dairy processing plant with a design capacity of 500 tons per day in the first phase and up to 1,000 tons per day in the second phase. Lastly, it can be mentioned that Mok Chau Milk will make investment to increase the number of cattle in the Mok Chau breeding dairy cow center, which also possible give the opportunity for genetics in the future. The new dairy complex is a great example of that shift we see in the sector. And of course, there are only limited numbers of investments like this per year. But if you're able to, as a Danish company, to get in an investment like this will be a great opportunity, of course. So challenges for certified organic products. Based on the report, and it also correlates great with what Mia said earlier, we wanted to have a slide to tell a bit about the challenges that are with organic products here in Vietnam. Overall, you can say that Vietnam holds an underdeveloped organic market. Right now, it mainly focused on imported products, and they are targeted to a middle and high-income customers. There is still little knowledge about and awareness about organic certification. And it could lead to an unhealthy competition between certified organic products, as for example from Denmark, and those self-claimed organic products that on the label, locally produced, for example, that on the label would say that they are organic. So there is a need for awareness campaign related to organic certification, and also to prove the quality of the organic product. And that could be a suggested focus area if any Danish companies want to introduce and sell organic product on the Vietnamese market. And we did, in the end of last year, the embassy, together with Food Nation and other stakeholders, hold an event where we had some awareness about certification of Danish organic products. So I can see that I'm running a bit out of time, so and I only have a few slides left. But overall, there are great opportunities in Vietnam for Danish companies in this sector. And we are, of course, at the embassy and within the trade section, more than happy to help you if you are interested to have a look into the Vietnamese market, or if you have any issues or trouble with already ongoing cases or tasks. Here on the slide is listed some of the things that we will be able to assist you with. And here on the last slide, I have some contact information, and it's on the slide, especially because I know that the PowerPoints will be shared afterwards. So this is all that I have prepared for you today, but of course, later on, please ask any questions related to this sector, and otherwise I'm always more than happy to answer questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanne, and I would like to say well done, because I know it's not easy to give a presentation with a sore throat, but now you have some time to rest until we have the Q&A session. Now I would like to introduce you to the next speaker, Sia Oscarsen, Director of Food-Based Raw Materials at Orana. Sia, please share your screen, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, hello. I hope you can see my screen now. Yes, thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity to tell you about Orana and the adventure that we've had and have still in Vietnam. I'm Sia Oscarson, and I've been with the company for actually more than 20 years. I'm head of sales of our fruit ingredients for the industry. One is international company, but based on very strong Danish roots. We have a lot of years of experience within fruit and fruit-based raw materials. Fruit-based raw materials is our core business, and we are a key supplier to the international food and beverage industry. Around the world, we have 5 innovation centers along with the production sites that we have. We have 3 of our own production sites, being in Denmark, Egypt, and Vietnam, and we also have co-production sites in India. But along with that, we also have our innovation centers that develop our products. Our history says that we were actually born global. We came out as a subsidiary to the largest Scandinavian juice producer, Rynkeby Foods. Since 1999, we've been independent. And Oran, Vietnam, our factory in Vietnam was the first subsidiary that we established outside of Denmark in 2002. And then along that, we've had many other subsidiaries established around the world. Our success is based on what we call 5 pillars. We have the tradition and origin from our previous mother company. We have the innovation, creativity from the very close cooperation with our customers in developing their products. We have it from the expanding the business by localization, by getting very close to the customers and in the markets, and the fruits that we also buy around the world, from around the world. It's also based on a consistent quality and a high responsibility on food safety. And then, not least, on spreading the risk by having different kind of products, different kind of customers, and being present in different kind of markets. The products are for the industry. They are fruit-based ingredients for the dairy, but also for beverage and bakery industries. It could be a compound, a concentrate. Then
yeah, sorry that I'm interrupting. It seems like that you're not sharing the screen, but it's our yeah. Oh, but we can see the slides because I have some really great colleagues, but they don't know when to shift the slides.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Then I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe it's because I'm not in the right. It's because I have to control it from here. Okay, sorry. Okay, but then we are. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Here we are.
Great.
So, yes, but I also didn't understand why I couldn't see more than my own screen. Okay. So we are here explaining about the fruit ingredients that are our products. It is for the dairy and beverage and bakery industry. And everything is tailor-made. It's customized so that it fits to the individual market trends and demands. Okay, and but we also have a product range of food service products which were actually developed when we established the business in Vietnam, because we saw a big potential in that. That these products are fruit-based syrups, fruit crush. It's fillings, toppings for the HoReCa, for the restaurant and the cafe industry in Vietnam. It's sold under the green Østerberg quality logo, but at the same time we've also developed what can you say, a high-end brand for the very natural product and with no additives and all organic, both in the beverage part, but also an ice cream range where we have ice cream shops in both Copenhagen and Ho Chi Minh City. Yes, this is just to show you a selection of the local produced products in Vietnam in the dairy and a little bit in the beverage sector also, where we have developed and provided the fruit part for these. To the right side, we have the very popular black rice yogurt, where we have developed and supply for Vinamilk the black rice base for this. And we even also have a newly launched banana yogurt with organic banana inside. Yes. This is Orano Vietnam, our factory and office that we have in Ho Chi Minh City. And I will give you some more insights to that. It was founded in 2002, and we have now more than 200 employees. We have a high capacity for the production, but it's actually even close to being the limit. Therefore, we are talking about establishing more factories. We cannot do in this because, as you see, this is the two buildings we have, and we have no more space around. So if we want to do more, it has to be another place. But from here we are serving, of course, the local market and the rest of the Far East, but we also export to the Middle East and Africa. Here you see a development of the produced volume in tons, which has increased over the years. And as showed the two buildings in 2015, we had to open the second part to fulfill the need of production capacity. So here's a photo from the official opening. And we also can see from the increased turnover in both the local and export sales that the business has only grown since the startup. Also, again, the number of employees. So why did we actually choose Vietnam? That's a good question. First of all, I hate to say that Orano always choose markets that are not really, obvious for others. And especially when we did it, it was definitely not obvious for anyone. But we already had the experience with the market. Even 10 years before that, we had been there to develop the market, to develop the actual need of fruit in yogurt, as one example. So we knew the market already, which was definitely not developed, but we definitely saw the potential in it. We also had, we had our first supply to Vietnam in the late 90s. And we could see that the shipping costs when producing and transporting to Vietnam were high. So we could avoid that if we established our own production there. Then we had a very good partner, a very important part also that we had a local partner that would know exactly how to do the business in Vietnam. We were first movers, and therefore we also went in and took 100% share of the market. And the location of our factory is just opposite the road of our very biggest customer, being Vinamilk, the biggest dairy in the country. We could avoid the import duties. We could therefore be very competitive in the pricing. And we had an expectation of a very large growth. And then, of course, we could also make use of the relatively low cost of labor. But on the cost of labor, we can also see that it has increased over the years. So even over these 20 years, it has increased for a production worker by 10 times. What we have emphasized a lot in the build-up of the business in Vietnam, of the factory itself, is to empower the women, the female employees, because it's very common that as a woman, when you get kids, you stop working. But we had actually spent a lot of time in training our female staff within that was in product development and quality, and we could see that if we did not change the things, they would stop. They would resign when they had to when they wanted the children. So therefore, we tried to change and give the more Danish style of working hours. We shortened the lunch break so that they could stop the working hours at 4 o'clock and then get home and do what they need to do at home and with the kids. So it definitely created a better work-life balance, and it was definitely also, it has been a win-win situation for everyone. And yeah, just a few photos from this. The advantages and disadvantages for producing in Vietnam, we see that of course we have the reduced transit time, we have the trade agreements so that we could avoid the import usage. Then we had the cheaper workforce and definitely also very hard-working employees. And then again, the advantage of being close to the local fruits that we use a lot in our products. The disadvantage or difficulties that we have to highlight is that it has and can still be difficult to communicate. There are still the cultural differences and which are different to avoid. But of course, we know now how to come around this in more, in how to explain and how to deal with that. It can also be hard to find the qualified employees, but now we did a lot to maintain these people once we have them. With the authorities, we also, of course, experience bureaucracy, and unfortunately, we have also witnessed a lot of corruption. And unfortunately, we have to say that internally, we also have to, we have to keep many guards around the factory, but also cameras within to be sure that people behave as they should. Unfortunately, we had incidents of both hackers and fraud, both from within internal from employees, but also from the outside. It can be difficult for some to understand for the international standards, but I think that now that the country itself has become more and more international, I think that these things are improving. We've unfortunately also met where you're saying the copyright means right to copy, where we've had especially the food service products copied one-to-one, and have them seen them with a logo very similar to our own in the shops. And yes, we also have to be aware of the the maybe difficult regulations where we have to comply with and have on regular basis audits from the authorities. But a lot of positive experience as well, and definitely that we have the extremely hardworking employees, very flexible, very eager to learn, and by that we've also always had very good quality products and very few claims on that. Of course, an advantage of the low production cost, and it has given us all an opportunity for growing and growing with the market that has grown considerably over the years. So, as my last slide, I just want to highlight again, it's definitely been a success because of the importance that we've added to our the way of our business, where the values and the responsibilities that we believe we have as a company, which we have taken from our way of doing business in Denmark to the way of doing business in Vietnam. Again, I have to highlight the long-term and good partnerships that have helped us, and then especially also the support from both the embassy, from Danida, IFU, Danish Industry, and also from the network we have in Vietnam. And again, the very hardworking employees and the values that we could base everything on. And then maybe as an important factor that we started very small, and then we could expand over the years. Yeah, these were my inputs to how we do business in Vietnam.
Thank you so much, Sia, for sharing Orana's experiences on the Vietnamese market. As you have noticed, the time is running when we're hearing new interesting information. So I would like to speed up and invite Sanne back on the screen and close the presentation from Orana. Thank you. And invite my colleague Mie back again. We don't have so much time, but I would like to highlight one of the questions here from the chat. It's Jesper Gade who is asking if if the government in Vietnam is supporting the agri-industry with investment or funding programs in order to transform from small farms, wet markets, to more large industrial scale production.
Yeah, that's a good question, and they do. And they do actually together with us and Danida, because apart from talking about what Danish companies have of opportunities here in Vietnam, I also work on a strategic sector cooperation project, the NIDA project, between Denmark and Vietnam, where we look at the food safety in general within the pork safety value chain. And so by supporting the investment and the funding programs, the government doesn't give out funding as such, but they do support that transition from the wet market into a more technology-based industry. But at the same time, there are so many cultural differences, and there's still quite a few consumers, that especially for local holidays, now with Tet, for example, coming up, that do prefer to buy the meat on the wet market instead of the supermarkets. But Jesper, if you want to hear more about that and how we work together with the Vietnamese authorities on it, I think we could also have a meeting later on to discuss that in more details.
Thank you so much, Sanne. And I think that I actually have a question for you, Sia. You gave us a great presentation about your journey on the Vietnamese market, but if you have to pinpoint the key success factor for Orana entering Vietnam, what could that be?
I would say that first of all, it's of course that we were first movers. We actually got a very good foothold in this market before anyone else were. So I think, of course, it also means that we have taken all the hard experience on us during the years. But I would say it's as it is in every market, extremely important to have the local partner that you can team up with, so you don't get into all the you can maybe avoid too much of the trouble on that part. But of course our products and the way that we do the business is a bit different from, because we do the tailor-made, the customized products. So I would also say that it was easy for us to adapt our products to the market, which is of course could also be important factor. But since we are developing for the market already, then that was a natural part of it. So So the first mover and then of course the training of the employees and making sure that they also stay in our company.
Okay. Thank you both for following up on this Q&A session, very short one, and thank you so much for giving us a presentation to get more knowledge on the Vietnamese market. I think that we all agree that there are a lot of opportunities that we have as a Danish exporting nation. So sorry that it was a bit quick this last session, but we need to run off. And thank you so much, Sia and Sanne. I would now share my screen one last time, and just let you know that we have one more Market Insight webinar. It's in next week on Thursday, January the 19th, where we make a deeper dive into the Japanese market. So thank you once again for being here with us today, and I hope that you got some new knowledge to work with the Vietnamese market.
And finally, I also want to say thank you so much. And then I would just invite you to explore the virtual universe, which is the universe you are in already now. So go around and see where to find interesting information and solutions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.